Well, welcome to all of the coaches, and I want to welcome the people I'll be leading the call with, and that is Reese Soloway, Bert Peterson, and Madeline Lobsey, senior leaders of the Introduction Leaders Program, who'll be leading this coaches training with me. So we want to really present what we accomplished at the second weekends around the world. So let me take you back on a little trip down memory lane. So we started by creating the purpose of the program in the world and the promises of the program in these people's lives. We then had people have the opportunity to complete on their integrity and deepen the distinction, managing the existence of yourself as a program leader inside the stand you take to be a leader of Landmark. Then we talked about being uniquely extraordinary and distinguished, gave people the opportunity to really share that moment when they got connected to what this was really all about, that has them be here, what it was that got settled for them about what this is and who they are in this and what this is. Then we had a chance to really look at where people had been successful, what distinction had made a difference in them fulfilling on their measures. Where they hadn't been successful, we gave people the opportunity to really distinguish where they'd been being inauthentic and gave everyone the opportunity to really create what distinctions they were taking on next. And then we moved to everybody's favorite, the poems. And people had an opportunity to really cause a breakthrough in their self-expression and their freedom to be out here dancing in another person's listening versus their own. Then we moved to really creating, people having the opportunity to get inside the intentions of the introduction. And we completed Saturday with revisiting why this work exists. You know, why were we doing everything that we've done so far in the day and in the weekend and in the program itself? People got connected again to bringing forth a new paradigm of what it means for us as human beings to be human beings. Sunday we came in and we started with what opened up out of being, oh my gosh, I completely forgot the cause of the matter. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Did any of you notice that I forgot that? Oh my gosh, before the poems, after being uniquely extraordinary. That's what happens when you try to do it like jazz. I was just riffing. We, of course, on Saturday took a big leap into the world of being cause in the matter by first distinguishing what it's not, and then what it really is. And as you all may remember, people had extraordinary breakthroughs in distinguishing the real impact of having lived their life inside of the default context for being cause in the matter or responsibility, where there is no cause in the matter. And people really came back Sunday ready to share about what they'd discovered. And then we took the next step into, well, how does that relate to anything you're doing here in registering people in the Landmark Forum, and the real opportunity to be cause in the matter of another being cause in the matter of their life. And then to empower them and enable them in fulfilling that, we spent most of the rest of Sunday really engaging in enrollment and distinguishing inauthenticities, and then enrollment in the background, creating bridge conversations to the possibility of the Landmark Forum. And then from there, creating powerful invitations. And that was what we accomplished. So I want to take just one or two people to share for you what got accomplished. For you, not for them, for you, because this evening's about you. So what did you discover for yourself? What transformed in what is, without question, one of the transformational weekends of the Introduction Leaders Program? What transformed for you as a coach?
Anne from Vancouver.
No, hi everyone.
Hi.
So, sorry, one moment, gather my thoughts. So the beginning of the second weekend, the people that shared, I felt like they were talking directly to me. And what I discovered in their sharing is that what's between me and people is don't get rid of me. Don't get rid of me. And then inside of declaring myself cause in the matter of all of it, it's kind of what you said in the last Damon, like last I don't know, 30 minutes, Manal, or somebody, it's like, you're going to have some breakthroughs. There's going to be great things that happen in your life. And then they're going to have some breakdowns, right? And like, my experience of these last couple of weeks is like, breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough. And I'm just like oscillating between like, right there. It's always right there. Don't get rid of me. Don't get rid of me. And like in every moment, I like remind myself, create for myself, have to stand in like, okay, is like, don't get rid of me right here, right now. Are you being causing the matter? Okay, no. And the example, like today, I took a week off of work, and today I got back into work, and the entire organization has changed. Like VPs moved from here to there. My entire department reports into elsewhere now. And all day, what's been flaring on and off is like, don't get rid of me, because I know so many people did lose their jobs. And it's interesting. Like, I'm dealing with how I'm really present to how afraid I am living my life. And the power of like this work, or like where I get to stand and create for myself, is causing the matter. Okay, like,
Ok,
so
o que
there's
eu
what
tirei
there's to
foi
do
ser
here.
causa no assunto.
1 second, Joanne. Juliana, we can hear you for some reason, interpreting. Thank you. Go ahead, Joanne.
Oh, that was it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
just like grappling with, and you know, everything that's like coming up for me is where I'm not causing the matter, and where what's between me and people, and me and like me living my life is, don't get rid of me.
Great. I got that completely. Joanne, what was powerful, a couple of things that I'd like to underline, highlight in your sharing. So do you see this aspect you called don't get rid of me, that's there between you and people, that leaves you not at cause in the matter, is because there's something you assign cause to outside of yourself, called whether or not they're going to get rid of you. Do you see that? So rather than I am cause in the matter, there's something outside of you that you're reacting to, distinct from your say in the matter of your life. Do you get that? But that's why that's got such a grip, is because you're left at the effect of something outside of you that you're assigning cause to, as distinct from I am cause in the matter. I got something to say about whether they keep me or don't keep me. I got something to say about my life here. And then the second thing that you said that's very powerful, it's really a question I have for you. Does it show up for you when you said, I can see those places where I'm not being cause in the matter? Has that begun to show up for you as a lack of integrity against being someone who took the stand that I am cause in the matter?
Yes, and I don't like it.
Yeah, that would be because you have a lack of integrity being in a moral context. But can you see it? It lacks integrity. Like, there I am saying I'm married, but acting inconsistent with being married. It's got to show up for you as, oh, that just is inconsistent with who I say I am. That lacks integrity against who I say I am. So then all you do is you've got to correct that and correct back, you know, restore integrity to your declaration that who you are is cause in the matter. That's what you declared. That's who you are. It's now who you are. It's not a thing we're doing called being cause in the matter, like a thing we do. It's a state of being. And it's one of the critical aspects of this distinction that has been revealed to me as really missing with introduction leaders and many people in the enterprise, where cause in the matter gets devolved into some kind of tool that we're using, like go get people to be cause in the matter of something, or get yourself to be cause in the matter of something. No, this is a state of being. Just like if I'm married and I start acting inconsistent with being married, that should show up for me as a lack of integrity. Similarly with this. And what there is to do is to just acknowledge that there's been a lack of integrity with your stand that you took on yourself to be cause in the matter. It's great, Joanne, and I got it. And I've got you being in the presence of the impact of living a life in the default context for responsibility, where there's a lot of fear present. I got that too. Great. Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, let's springboard right off from Joanne sharing here, because guess what we're going to be dealing with tonight? Anyone want to guess? Anyone want to take a guess? Let's see how smart you really are. Yes, that's right. We're going to create the distinction being cause in the matter insofar as your accountability as a coach. So it's for all of us an opportunity to really expand what's actually possible functioning from a realm of possibility called cause in the matter. So we want to look at the direction now specifically of being a coach. It probably is trite to say that one of the critical distinctions of being an effective coach is being responsible. You know, forget about being an effective coach if you aren't going to hold yourself accountable as cause in the matter of the lives of the people you're coaching. I mean, otherwise it's just like, oh, here's some coaching. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. There's an insanity in that that's probably obvious. Now, being responsible starts with the declaration, I am cause in the matter. Cause in the matter of what? Well, cause in the matter of your coaching, your leading, your life. Why does anybody care about that? Well, when you are being cause in the matter, what opens up are pathways for action. See, one access to creating yourself as being cause in the matter, to really honoring your word as cause in the matter, is like Joanne was starting to share about, looking for those areas in your leading, in your coaching, where you are lacking integrity in honoring the stand to be cause in the matter, where you're struggling, where you have no power. See, that would be your best indication that in that area of your life, you're not functioning consistent with who you said you were as cause in the matter. It's immediate. There's struggle there. There's no power there. So I'd like to hear from a couple of people, where are you noticing as a coach that you're struggling or experiencing having no power in your coaching? Let's just get some of what you're dealing with up on the mat, and we're going to start providing something for that area.
Becky from San Francisco.
So where I am finding like where I'm struggling is with communication with my participants. There used to be, like in the center, we'd run into each other in the hallway. I could pull them aside during a break. I could talk to them during phoning. And now I'm having a hard time having conversations with them like throughout the week between coaching calls, or I have to hop on their phoning agreement and go, you know, hop into a room to try to get them in communication with me. So I think for me, communication is where I'm really struggling.
Good, very clear, powerfully expressed. Thank you, Becky. I got that. That's where you experience no power or there's a struggle in being a coach.
Eva from Houston, go ahead.
Eva from Houston.
Hi. One of the places where I experience a loss of power is with my participant statistics. So I have 6 participants and 4 out of 6 of them have 0 guests and 0 registrations. And I'm just like, I have no idea what there is to do now. So
Got it. So actually impacting their performance, you experience a lack of effectiveness with them.
Absolutely, yes.
And how many did you say were on 0? 6 out of the 6?
4 out of 6.
4 out of the 6 are on 0, and you just have no power in getting that to move.
That's right.
Great, clear.
Art from Vancouver.
Just really getting a sense of what it is that they're dealing with in their life and really getting on the court with them, the conversations that they're having with friends and family.
And Doug, just say a little more about what you're struggling with or have no power with about that. Like that they're not opening up to you about what they're dealing with, or they're not debriefing.
I ask questions in a variety of different ways about the conversations that they have had, friends and family, and it's very general comments that I'm getting back. No specific, nothing that I feel like tangible that I can get in and get coaching on it, right? Like I want to coach performance, but I'm not getting where they are in their performance to be able to actually coach from performance.
Okay, I got that.
Megan from San Francisco. Can you accept there?
Yeah, what I'm struggling with, where I have a loss of power, is my participants having integrity, like issues with their integrity. and being stopped by integrity, and generally just now it's to the point where, yeah, I know my integrity's out and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to take the actions I said I was going to take. I'm not present to my transformation. It's like that's kind of been the outfall of it.
Again, great. It's very clear the way each of you are articulating what it is that you're bumping up against. See, when you're honoring your word to create being cause in the matter, it really is a state change. It's a transformation. And what that opens up, it alters the whole playing field, and new pathways for action open up. So if you just listen to everything everybody shared, you can hear there's like, almost like they hit a roadblock and there's no more pathways for action. That, by the way, in any area of your life is a complete symptom of an absence of cause. Now one is at the effect of some circumstance, someone, something, including the someone you're at the effect of can include you. So keep all of that on the map. By the way, raise your physical hand if you could hear yourself in any one of those shares that you're bumping up against something that already got shared. Yeah, that was pretty good cross-section. Integrity, communication, performance, the not opening up, really clear. Great. All right, Madeline.
Hi everyone, my name's Madeline Lobsey. I'm a designated leader of the Introduction Leaders Program and I live in Sydney, Australia. So we want to go straight off the back of what Manal's been creating, and many of you are already demonstrating in your speaking of what you're struggling with. See, if you don't see a pathway opening up, you may be talking about being cause in the matter, saying you're cause in the matter, maybe even trying to be cause in the matter, but you're not honoring your word to be the stand, I am cause in the matter. And you have the impact then of not being cause in the matter. For example, you might not plan very well. See, when you create being cause in the matter, pathways open up and you can see where to go. So sometimes you can authentically, before you can actually create that for yourself, before you can authentically create being cause in the matter, you have to first to create another conversation or another communication. And that is, I have lacked integrity in not being cause in the matter. And you want to start with that communication. I've lacked integrity in not being cause in the matter. And rather than you've got, I don't know, some reasons, you have to create being cause in the matter of not being cause in the matter before you can authentically create being cause in the matter. See, if you still got...
I think you have to say that again, Madeline. It's too rich.
Yes. See, rather than you've got some reasons, you have to create being cause in the matter of not being cause in the matter before you can authentically create being cause in the matter.
In other words, I got to confront, wow, I've not been cause in the matter. And that really is what there is first to confront before I could authentically ever create myself and restore my integrity to being cause in the matter.
So if you still got reasons, you're still somehow off the hook for it.
Now, you may not say you've got reasons, but if you just listen to everything everybody just said, well, they're not in communication. I can't get them to open up. They have these integrity issues. I can't get them off zero. Now, you just stop and listen to all the world, the becauses that are in there, all the reasons that are in there that leave you distant from your word to be cause in the matter. Just start to notice how it doesn't necessarily show up in our speaking for us, that was just a complete and direct expression that I am lacking integrity with being cause in the matter. Go ahead, Madeline.
So the first cue you want to start with, whether you do that publicly or not, whether it is with yourself, you want to confront authentically not being cause in the matter and the impact of that. And then there's what that's caused in the world and where it's left you. See, once you do all of that, all the reasons and the explanations and the considerations, they have no more leverage on you. They no longer have the say. The way it's turned out is because you haven't been causing the matter.
Hold on, let me just check something out. Somebody tell me, why is that completely obvious? It hasn't been for you, but how many of you can hear like there's an inescapable logic of it? Oh, hold on. Given everything I just said, I am not honoring my word to be causing the matter. Somebody tell me why there's like an obvious connection, logical connection there. I was just call one person whose hands up.
Lisa Jones from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, so it's so obvious because I can see at a certain point I have a reason why I wouldn't take the next action. And then that becomes the lack of integrity. I'm not being causing the matter. I may have even seen to do something and I just went, no, that's too crazy. Why would I do that? I'm not doing that.
Okay, very good.
I got myself right off the hook on it.
Right off the hook. So either you didn't take the next action you sought to take, which then totally expresses an absence of being causing the matter, or even more, if you listen to what people shared earlier, you can hear it. They don't see where to go. That's the perfect connection to make call. Oh, if I just get stopped dead in my tracks somewhere, I must now not be being causing the matter. Because when I am being causing the matter, when I'm honoring my word with the stand I took that I'm causing the matter, remember what that means? I have the say in everything I do, everything I am, everything I have. There's nothing outside of me that I'm assigning cause to. When you take that stand on yourself, the natural outcome of that are thousands of openings for action, or at least one. At least one. And you've gotten stopped dead in your tracks as you hear something, oh, I don't know what else to do about these zeros and zeros. Or, man, I can't get these people to communicate. Oh, man, I can't get them to stop having these integrity issues. Great, Madeline, keep going.
So if you want to have it go any other way than the way it is right now, what's going to make it turn out differently is going to be taking responsibility for not being cause in the matter and creating being cause in the matter, and then seeing those pathways like Manal's just created open up. So can you get that in the area where you've been struggling, you haven't been causing the matter? I'm going to hand it over to Clarice.
And that's the beginning, the end of the story. If you are struggling or you have no power and you take the case, oh, if I lack openings for action, I am no longer functioning consistent with my stand as a coach that I am causing the matter. Now, if you listen in the background, what Clarice is going to create, can you guys still hear me? Good. Hang on, let me just plug this. I dropped out to somebody. Hang on.
Look there, you'll start to see, hold on, what might be getting in the way may have something to do with what Clarice is about to create with you. Go ahead, Clarice.
Great. Have you heard your participants, or have you said, I'm going to cause this, or I'm going to go cause that? When you talk about the cause, it puts you back in the conversation of cause and effect, which we're trying to take out of the conversation. So we're talking about being cause in the matter, not the cause. Cause in the matter of what? Cause in the matter of one's life and the commitments one has and what one is confronted or challenged with. Does being cause in the matter allow for unseen possibilities? By its very nature, it does. Because less is possible for me when I'm at the effect of life.
And another way to say being at the effect of life, like what aspect is it that's gotten in the way? One critical thing that's gotten in the way is if you listen to each one of you, as you shared about where you struggled and had no power, there is at some level you are reacting to something out there. You're reacting to something out there. It could even be numbers on a statistic sheet, but there's a reaction to something out there. So you're at the effect. And then you say, okay, I'm going to go cause something here, like be the cause. But that, again, is still from that same realm, like cause and effect. Go ahead, Clarice.
Right. If I'm at the effect of life, or if I'm reacting to life, then all my energy, my space is filled up by my reactions. Therefore, there's no opening for anything possible to show up for me. By its very nature, being cause and matter allows for possibilities that are impossible inside of a reactive life. See, all of our machinery, our mechanisms, all of our ontological wiring, so to speak, is wired to be a reaction. In the Landmark Forum, we said that rackets are simply a reaction to real or imagined threats. If you think about most people in life, they are in a constant state of readiness to react.
Hold on. Why are you talking to us about rackets? Hold on. Are you suggesting that I am running a racket? Well, if you're reacting, that is so. And if you listen to what's in the background, the reaction, the space of what you're being right about or making them wrong for, however subtle, they just don't talk to me. I can't get anything out of them. They're on zero. They just do this stuff with their integrity. You know, I can't get them to perform. Consider that is what's there in the space, when what's not there is you're being cause and matter. Remember, what's the fundamental payoff of a racket? Somebody tell me, what's the fundamental payoff of a racket? You've all done the forum.
Amy.
Go on,
from
Jamie.
Chicago.
Let's see how smart you are. What's the fundamental payoff of a racket?
So that you get to be right.
No, that's one of the payoffs. But underneath that, what's that all about fundamentally? Do you remember what the fundamental payoff of a racket is? So you get to be right, and you make people wrong, and you justify yourself and invalidate others. You get to dominate and avoid domination, and you get to win, and they lose. But all of that is in service of what?
Let's go with Nitsa from New Jersey.
Go Nitsa.
I was going to say the exact same thing that she did, is us being right. Well, and that we don't have to have responsibility.
That's the fundamental
You're off the
payoff.
hook.
See, why are you making someone wrong? So then you don't have to be responsible. Why are you justifying yourself? So you don't have to be responsible. Why are you invalidating others? So all of it comes down to an absence of responsibility in the way we mean it, like being cause in the matter. Great, Nitsa, thank you. So why are we talking about rackets? Because our whole machinery, our ontological wiring, so to speak, is wired for reaction. And we said in the forum that rackets are simply a reaction to a real or imagined threat. And if you think about it, you don't have to look very far right now out in the world in life. Most people in life are in a constant state of readiness to react. Now, look for yourself. Let's hear from a few of you. Here's the question. Where do you notice you are reacting in your relationship with your participants? Where are you reacting in your relationship to your participants? There's a chance now to look at it from another view. We said where you're not being caused, but fundamentally, therefore, you must be in a state of reaction. So now, standing there, look from there. Go ahead.
Usually,
hi, Jacob.
Hi. I notice I'm in a state of reaction when my participants say something that I can't really relate to. Or they've had some experience that I've never had or can't even understand having, so I become a reaction.
And what's the reaction?
It's usually, I don't know what to say, so let me try to say the right thing.
Okay, good. So then they communicate something. You go, well, I've never experienced that. I don't know what that's like. And then you react into, God, I've got to say something. I've got to say the right thing here.
That's right.
Okay, very clear. Great.
I react when the two main things. One is when, you know, they either, you know, don't show up for something or don't show up for the call or show up late. Or I react when, you know, I get like pushback, like, or when I see them going through whatever they're going through when I'm giving coaching, or when I have responses that are like, oh, is that what you believe? Or things like that. Like when I'm watching them running rackets and things like that, then I either get like, I either close down, or I react back, or I make it wrong, and then I'm like, yeah, just dealing with what shows up in me.
I got that. And Joseph, let's look together for a sec. What is it that triggers your reaction about that? If you look, what is it? They say that they're late, or they don't show up for something and you react, or they are going through something that you might experience like pushing back at your coaching. What is it that is reactivated in that moment?
Well, my identity, that's the smart answer, but I mean,
also very conceptual and won't give you any access to anything.
Yeah. I think.
Let's take a look. What is it that you get triggered by in that has you react in that?
Well, the feeling like I'm not going to make a difference, or I'm confronted with like, I'm not going to make a difference. I'm not capable. It's not working. There's something over here.
Very good. Yeah. Really good. If you could see that for everybody. See, your reaction's never about them. Just let that in for a sec. I can't get them off 0 and 0. It's not about them being on 0 and 0. I can't get them to communicate is not about them and their communication. See, consider, Joseph, you did a good job there. Like you can see right there's some trigger for you called, I'm not going to make a difference. I'm just not capable here. And so then a reaction's present, and you're now attempting to interact with them from that reaction, which I imagine doesn't go very well. Yeah, great. Who is the next person? Thanks, Joseph.
Jacqueline from Houston, you're unmuted.
Jacqueline from Houston, go ahead. Where are you reacting in your relationship with your participants?
So where I am reacting is like if they say they're gonna do something and then they don't do it, and then my reaction is like I make them wrong.
Mm-hmm. And again, like with Joseph, look for yourself. What is it that reactivates for you? See, I mean, you asked me as the forum leader accountable for the program. I'm like, wow, you guys are surprised that they don't do what they said? You guys have got high hopes. You guys are surprised they're not on 0. You guys are surprised they show up late, and you're like surprised?
Because Manal, they didn't have 0.
You never did that. You never did that when you were participants, right? You just showed up to everything and did everything, and you never reacted to anything. You were just like saints from heaven. Yeah. I mean, it's like almost humorous when you think about how you're reacting to the very thing the program is stimulating in them.
Yeah.
It's the very thing the program is provoking, bumping up against their integrity, etc. But look, because it's where you then end up losing power, Jacqueline. What is it that gets triggered for you when they don't do what they said they're going to do?
Okay, so what gets triggered for me is I get mad and disappointed. Because it looks like, because then it reminds me of me, like in my life where like I'm not fulfilling on my word. Like, oh, well, I said I was going to do this and I didn't do that too. So like, who am I to like wrangle them up if I can't even wrangle myself up?
I got that. So then where the trigger is that you lose your power to actually stand for something because you're in that moment reacting to, well, shoot, I haven't done what I said. So now you're in a reaction to, well, how can I say something to them?
Yeah, and then in that
perfect.
Give it up.
Great, got that. One more person. What is it that you're reacting to in your relationship with your participants? Because I know it looks like it's them you're reacting to. It's not them you're reacting to. There's something that has you react. One more.
Great. Steve in Fort Lauderdale, please accept the prompt to unmute.
So today, a perfect example on my coaching call, the participant showing up and being like, oh my gosh, how do I do this? My stats, and oh, it's messed up again and it's not right. And, you know, you know, just the kind of scatterbrained thing. I'm like, my mind, we've already talked about this. You already know this. So that.
So what is it that gets reactivated for you about that? So they're being all scattered and you've coached them about something 3 times and here they are once again, just being all scattered and nutty about it. What for you gets reactivated for you?
Well, you know, it says I'm not doing a good job. You know, it says I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a coach.
All right, very good.
I'm not being effective.
Very good. I mean, everybody just really wants to take a page out of everybody's book that's shared so far. They could see, hold on. If I really look at what's getting reactivated here is something over here, where I'm now at the effect of something. I'm at the effect of I'm not capable, or I'm at the effect of, oh shoot, look at my integrity, who am I to say? Or I'm at the effect of, gosh, that must mean I can't make a difference. Or at the effect of something over here like, oh, well, I'm not doing a good job. I'm not being effective as a coach. So raise your hands if you could hear yourself in any of those reactions. Like you can see yourself in what people said. Raise your physical hand, just so I could see across the screen. Yeah, where you put yourself in question in some way. It triggers or reactivates something for you about you. Look, people are either constantly reacting or in a constant state of being ready to react. And that's the only way you can explain how people can go nutty when you just look at them. Or rather, you go nutty when they just look at you or say something scattered or say show up late. See, if I want to have my feet in a space other than reacting to life, I can create merely by my word in the matter. I'm causing the matter of my life. Like, what if, wow, that person is late or didn't show up? Okay, I'm causing the matter of that. Let me interact from that view that I have some say here in what I have called a participant who didn't show up. Or I have something to say about this person who keeps asking me the same question and keeps being scattered. I'm causing the matter of that because I said so. See, if I'm upset, guess what? I'm causing the matter of the upset. You said what you said and you did what you did, and I don't like what you said and I don't like what you did, and I'd rather you didn't say that, or I'd rather you just registered someone, or I'd rather just show up on time, but I'm causing the matter of my upset. I'm causing the matter of even how I'm reacting right now. See, the moment I've got that, I've got now something to say about my upset. I've got actions to take that I can't take if I'm just in a state of reaction. See, from a state of reaction, by the way, raise your hand if you can see yourself in this, when you are reacting and the source of it is like, I'm not good enough or I'm not doing a good job. How many of you noticed you now have your attention on you with regards to it versus working on what would make a difference with them? Now you're dealing with you and, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not capable. Maybe I can't make a difference. Oh, maybe I'm not being effective. You're now all over here. Can you imagine if a forum leader interacted like that in the forum? Do you know people in the forum don't do anything we want them to do for almost 3 days? But no, we stand in the view, oh, 60% of them came back Saturday morning without having done their overnight assignment on Friday. Okay, I'm causing the matter. Let me look at what was missing in the conversation I created last night about doing the assignments. Let me look at where I failed to enroll them in, the difference that would make. And the looking isn't what I did wrong or what's wrong here. It's what actions were missing. What didn't work in action, not over here like I'm wrong or something's wrong with me. See, the moment you get, oh, I'm upset or I'm irritated or I'm annoyed that they're asking me that, and you go, hold on, but I'm causing the matter here of this person's participation. I'm causing the matter of this person fulfilling the purpose and promises of the program. The moment I've got that, now I've got actions to take that I won't even see to take if I'm in a reaction. See, being cause in the matter creates worlds of unseen possibility. It creates worlds of openings for action. It creates worlds of malleability. See, if you just listen to the way you're speaking about them, well, this one's always late, or this one doesn't communicate, or this one's on zero, can you hear how fixed and set they are even in that view? No, but the minute you create being cause in the matter, it creates openings for actions, it creates things being malleable that aren't available to me when I'm reacting to life. You know, directly from my experience, there are times in the former I notice myself, I go, oh, God, these guys are so resistant. And then I have to catch that. Hold on, there's no resistant out there. I'm in a reaction. And the minute I go, hold on, I'm causing the matter why they are, quote, resisting. I'm causing the matter of this. All of a sudden, something becomes possible, like actions to take. Like I remember one time surprising myself by, rather than ranting at them about the assignment, I just stopped and asked, why don't you just tell me why you didn't do the assignment? It was like a radical opening for action. Like, oh, I could actually find out like what they're dealing with or what they bumped up against. Oh my gosh, that could be their forum happening right there as they discover the constraint they're in the middle of, which was a different opening for action than just getting stopped and stamping my feet about integrity and you should do what you said. No, it creates unbelievable openings for action. Which, if you really discover this for yourselves, you guys are going to be something else. See, if you put integrity and responsibility back to back, so here you are as someone who has a commitment to your word, to everything matters, and now you put back to back with that you're someone who is taking that stand, I am cause in the matter, wow, you've got to watch out for that person. That's a person to be reckoned with, someone who is standing for their word in the matter of life. And they're standing for, I have the say in the matter of life around me. That, my friends, is what we call a force of nature, a person to be reckoned with. Bert?
Hi, everyone. I'm Bert Peterson. I'm a leader of the Introduction Leaders Program. And, you know, like Manal said, that is a force of nature. And one of the things that you will see with someone who is a force of nature is that they are cause in the matter of life itself, and they live that way as a context in which they live their life. You know, like when we say, when you get married, it's final. By the way, it is final. You say till death do us part. Well, it's the same thing. When you declare, I am cause in the matter of my life as a context for your life, it's final. But like being married, you don't stop creating being married. I mean, the minute you stop creating being married, the whole power of being married is lost.
Now that may be a revelation for some of you, because you have stopped creating being married. You're just is married, and you know, let's get on with the cooking. I don't know, yeah. But if you stop, the whole power of being married is lost. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if you stop being, you know, for example, Holly, I'm a math teacher. If you stop creating that, the whole power of being a math teacher is lost. But if you create being cause in a matter, if you create being cause in a matter as a context from which you live your life, that doesn't mean that you stop doing that. It's not a done deal. Inside of you creating that I am cause in a matter of my life, you keep creating being cause in a matter of my life. And now here's the paradox that I want you to get is, if you create I am cause in the matter of my life as the context for your life, inside that context, you're constantly creating I am cause in a matter of my life. Let me say that again. I want you to really get this, because this is a paradox. If you create I am cause in the matter of my life as the context for your life, and now inside that context, I'm cause in the matter of my life, you're going to be constantly creating, I'm cause in the matter of my life. And every time you create it inside that context, you get what's available out of being inside of that context.
You know,
it's pretty trippy.
On the court, it's like, you know, like I was just sharing about leading the forum, you know, it's not like it's a news to me that I'm causing the matter, but right there when I notice, geesh, I'm reacting, and I go, hold on, stop, I'm causing the matter here. And I create that for myself again, like I'm creating being married again, you know, like newly for myself. The moment I create that inside the stand that I am causing the matter, I get the value of that in that moment. In other words, right there in the moment I'm at the front of the room and I notice I'm reacting, or, you know, I'm coaching someone and I notice I'm reacting. Right then, as I declare that, what Bert's saying is that moment is where you get the value that's available out of that context. Because immediately, I don't know how else to say it. It's like I get grounded again and no longer some leaf in the breeze of these circumstances. All of a sudden I've got my feet planted again. Hold on. I'm causing the matter here. And with that declaration that I'm creating newly for myself, I now all of a sudden start to see openings for action I never saw before. In other words, I get the value of recreating that for myself day in, day out. And I do every day. I can't tell you how many times a day I might see an email and I notice a reaction and hold on. I'm not at the effect of anything here. Let me stop and look from being causing the matter. What is there to say here? Or I get a voicemail, or something happens with my husband and I notice I'm about to react. Oh, hold on. No. I am not some leaf in the breeze of some circumstance or some mood or some thought or some racket. No, I'm causing the matter. Now looking from there, what action shows up? Great, go ahead, Bert.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things, if you listen in Manal's speaking, you can hear the power out of creating something. See, it's in the creation of it that power starts to show up. So you being caused in a matter of life starts to become, now we want that to now become a matter of you being caused in a matter of everything that you promise. See, you gave your promise to have those 5 or 8 participants turn out. You gave your promise to be a math teacher. You gave your promise to be married. So you want to be causing a matter of everything that you promise. And see, our request is that you now start to hold yourself to account for what you create and the power of what you create, and also hold yourself to account for what you promise. And that's all you need. All you need is to hold yourself to account for what you create and what you promise.
There couldn't be any more important what Bert just said, you guys. See, what has me and us as leaders of Landmark actually, quote, get off it about our rackets. I mean, there's no need to get off it. You can still be right and make people wrong and justify yourself and invalidate others. Except our getting off it, giving up the reaction and standing in creating I'm causing the matter is against a promise that we've made in the world called people's lives transform.
Yeah.
And it's the same for you. See, if you really hold yourself to account, hold on, I've got a promise here that these people will perform and discover the barriers that are there to them in performing. I've got a promise here that this person is going to discover that their life makes a difference, that your life and how you live it makes a difference, that they fulfill the stand. See, against that promise, you have to hold yourself accountable for what you've promised, is that they walk out of this program with that purpose fulfilled in their life. Against that promise and holding yourself accountable for that promise, you creating being cause in the matter gives you the extraordinary power. Like I said, with your integrity, and then you back that up with cause in the matter, you're now someone who's a force to be reckoned with. No one can escape you, especially those 5 or 6 or 8 little rascals who are trying to escape you that are getting away with escaping you because you're just reacting. No, if you were someone, no, you getting the program, I've promised that, and I'm causing the matter here, you would see openings for action that never showed themselves before. Bert, anything else?
Yeah, and you know, I just love everything that you just created, Manal, because one of the things that I want to leave you with in my final words here is we do not want a culture where other people have to hold you to account for what you create or for what you promise. That's ordinary, plain out ordinary. And you didn't take on coaching and you didn't do the Introduction Leaders program to come out and be ordinary. You are uniquely extraordinary. We are committed. We do not want a culture where people just have to hold you to account for everything.
Or hold your hand.
Exactly. You are cause in the matter of your life and honoring your word. Let me say that again, in case you didn't hear that. You are causing the matter of your life and honoring your word. And you're causing the matter of the fulfillment of the purpose and promises of the program for each and every participant.
Like, no joke, you guys, like no joke. I mean, do you want to get a sense of if you were in either the East Coast USA or the West Coast USA? The West Coast USA, we had 690 participants in that, 690 people in the weekend, including you. On the East Coast, we had 790 people. Like, you really think those of us leading the weekend who get to hear from 20 or 25 people tops in the whole weekend are really the ones who are going to reach in and fulfill the purpose and promises of this program? You, as I've said to you at the first training and the second training, you, my friends, are the critical success factor of this program. You, holding yourself accountable for being cause in the matter of the fulfillment of the purpose that these people are trained to be leaders of Landmark who can enroll anyone at any time in the power and magic of the transformation that the Landmark Forum makes available. You being accountable for that they're left unleashed as a force of nature, making a profound difference in the world, forever altered in who they know themselves to be and what they're capable of everywhere in life. Each and every one of you honoring your word to be cause in the matter of that being fulfilled with each of them is the only way we can fulfill the purpose of the program. Too big a burden? Too bad. That's what you signed up for. Your 4 or 6 or 8, they're yours. They're yours. And you holding yourself to account for that is critical. So one person tell me, what are you discovering for yourself so far? We're going to do a really powerful exercise. Hear from Paul in Chicago. Can someone unmute Paul?
Yeah, please accept the mute.
Now we're going to do a great exercise to get this really on the court with each and every one of you. Go ahead, Paul. What are you discovering?
Well, what I discovered is I just discovered what cause of the matter looks like on the court.
Mm.
When I listened to what you just shared about the fact that integrity and responsibility are back to back connected, and that I don't have to react. And the thing that stuck out really for me is against the promise I made. It's against the promise I made.
Yeah.
Nobody made me do this. I chose to make a promise. And against the promise I made, I hold myself accountable.
Yep.
That takes me out of the reaction, the emotions, and all the stories and the reasons.
Yeah.
And that's what I discovered.
That's great. And is that promise you made?
Power. It's so powerful.
Good, because that's the power you. I'm sorry, I cut across you. Say what you were saying.
So no, I don't need nobody to hold my hand. It's against my promise.
Right, and if you bump up against, but I don't know what to do here, I'm not sure what would make a difference. If you were being cause in the matter of your promise, what would you do?
if I'm going to be causing a manner of what against my promise, I'm going to do whatever I got to do.
Yeah, you're going to call your head coach. You're going to call your classroom leader. You're going to call your reg manager. You're going to call them. You're going to get the buddies involved. You're going to, I mean, you'll do whatever you have to do versus throw your hands up like, oh, well, they just got no integrity. What am I supposed to do?
Right. No, and I welcome their coaching and help because I'm not in it by myself. It's not about me. It's about my promise.
Good for you.
Whatever I have to do that.
And by the way, let me ask you a question, Paul. Is that promise you made that those people walk out something that matters to you?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
It matters to each and every one of you as leaders of Landmark yourselves. Or else, why did you do this? I mean, did you have nothing else to do in the pandemic or something? I mean, I imagine every one of you in your commitment to be a coach, there's something profoundly important to you about this work being available in the world and the leadership of this work being available in the world. So it's not like, oh gosh, I've got to keep my promise for the purpose. No, it's like your self-expression to fulfill on what you care about as an introduction leader, as a leader of Landmark yourself. This is your leadership. And by gosh, it is going to demand of you a new level of being cause in the matter, of others being cause in the matter. You know, you already accomplished something that had you be candidated an introduction leader. You already demonstrated you're someone who can be cause in the matter of others being cause in the matter. We're taking this up a notch now. Now you're cause in the matter of another being cause in the matter of others being cause in the matter. We've taken it to the next level. And of course you're going to bump up against constraints like, gosh, I don't know how to get them to perform, because you're discovering yourself a new level of cause where it's not as direct, like you can get your hands on those guests or people who aren't registering. Now you've got to cause another to be successful with that. That's where your training and development comes in. So stepping back, reacting, just giving up, throwing your hands up just leaves you without the kind of development that we're really committed, you're being a coach, provides for your own life. In your businesses, in your families, getting cause in the matter of others being cause in the matter of others. And out and out it goes. See, what I'm doing here is being cause in the matter of you being cause in the matter of them being cause in the matter of others being cause in the matter. That's how further out it keeps going, right? And then my coach is being cause in the matter of me being cause in the matter of them being cause, you being cause in the matter of them being cause in the matter. And on it goes, because how far out are you willing to go with I am cause in the matter? How far out? The results around me are always my results. Great. Thank you, Paul. Very powerfully expressed.
So one other thing, Manal, if I may.
Sure.
You just present to me is that sometimes I forget that it's not just about Landmark. It's about transforming the world.
Right. That is what it's about.
Paradigm of what it means to be human. And that literally will not happen if I'm not causing the manner.
Correct. Because, and if you could get, Paul, that is not separate from Landmark. That is a Landmark. That is what this is all about.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you, and it's important you guys keep that connected every day. Hold on. What we're doing here is creating a new paradigm for what, for us human beings, it currently means to be human. And as I like to say at the moment, gosh knows we all know right now on the planet, in every corner of the planet, we really need that new leadership. We need that new era. Really. So we're going to ask you now, thank you, Paul, really powerful sharing. We're going to ask you all to take a look at your coaching and declare where you're not functioning consistent with being cause in the matter. But I'm not going to ask you to base that on any feeling or emotion you have. I'm going to ask you to base it on those areas where you experience you're limited in your openings for action, or you're at the effect of something and you don't see a way to deal with it. You don't see a pathway or where to go. Again, the ultimate test, the only real test of where I've stopped being cause in the matter is that life stops presenting me with openings for action. So as you start to look at where in my coaching of the participants am I not being cause in the matter? First off, don't look for blame or fault or guilt. You're not to blame. Again, look for the areas where you've had a limited view of actions you could take to make something happen. See, the symptoms that you're looking for that you're not being caused in the matter is definitely not in your personal experience, because there is no appropriate personal experience to being caused. Being caused in the matter is not a personal experience. I can declare myself caused in the matter absent any thoughts, emotions, feelings, anything personally that's going on. So you want to look in those areas where you no longer see 1,000 openings for action. So everybody take out a notebook. We're going to do this as a notebook exercise so everyone's included. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm going to pause between the questions so you can write down what shows up in response, okay? So where do you notice that you're struggling or experiencing having no power in your coaching? Where do you notice that you're struggling or experiencing having no power in your coaching? Best if you can just jot bullet points down so you just capture something, because there's many more questions. Where do you notice you're reacting in your relationship with your participants? Where in your coaching of your participants have you not been responsible? Where have you had a limited view of actions you could take to make something happen? Now, I know there may be overlaps with some of these, but we're coming at it from lots of different angles to uncover something, give you access to something. Where have you had a limited view of actions you could take to make something happen? Where are you resigned that there's nothing you can do about it, whatever it is? Where are you resigned that you have nothing to do about it? Where have you said to yourself, well, I just can't do anything about that. I just can't do anything about that. Where have you said, look, there are just no other actions to take other than what I'm already doing? Look, there's just nothing else I can do than what I've already done. Take a look at your coaching and write down where you're not causing the matter. But don't base it on any experience you have. Again, the ultimate test, as you can see, is where you've stopped being able to see thousands of openings for action. So just review, where are you struggling or experiencing no power? Where do you notice you're reacting? Where in your coaching of your participants have you not been responsible? Where have you had limited view of the actions you could take? Where have you gotten resigned? Like, there's just nothing I can do about this. Where have you said, I can't do anything about that? Where have you said, look, there's just no other actions I can take other than the ones I've been doing? Give you 30 seconds more. Okay, I'd like to hear from somebody what you discovered out of doing that.
Let's have Mandy from San Diego, and if we have time, we'll go to Sheeta from Toronto.
We're probably going to have one person share, okay? So okay. I think it's Mandy that it is. Go ahead, Mandy.
I noticed that I just live in the story that I can't make them come to me for coaching. I make myself available, I tell them I'm available, and I just can't make them come to me.
Got it. So what you saw where you were not functioning consistent with being cause in the matter is there's just nothing else I can do to make them come to me for coaching.
Right.
No matter what I say, no matter what I do, they won't come to me for coaching.
Right.
Okay, good. So what do you see as you look there? What are you reacting to? Or what's there in the space that's displacing your functioning as cause in the matter?
I'm just being more like poor me victim. They're going to their buddies. They're not coming to me. I want to make the difference. Poor me.
Okay, got that. Good. I got that completely. Poor me. They're going to their buddies. They're not coming to me. I can't get them to come to me for coaching. Did I capture the whole world?
Yes.
All right, good. So now I just want you to leave that be. And I want you to now, having acknowledged where you have lacked integrity and not being cause of the matter. By the way, do you see that as a lack of integrity? Like you're just kind of throwing your hands up like it's somehow poor me, I'm the victim here?
Yes.
Great. So having acknowledged that authentically, here's what I want you to do. I want you to declare, I am cause in the matter of my participants fulfilling the purpose of the program. And really declare it like, no kidding. You're like, okay, however that's been, I'm now from nothing declaring that.
Okay. You want me to say it right now?
Yeah.
I'm declaring cause in the matter of my participants coming to me for coaching.
Yeah. So try it this way.
Okay.
In the matter of my participants not coming to me for coaching, I'm cause in the matter of that.
In the matter of my participants not coming to me for coaching, I am the cause of the matter of that.
Yeah, not the cause. I am cause.
I am cause of the matter of that.
Try that again.
In the matter of my participants not coming to me for coaching, I am cause of the matter of that.
Great. And are you?
I am, yes.
Good. Because
I'm committed for them to get the purposes and promises of the program.
correct, but really because you said so.
And because I said so.
Because you said so, right?
Right.
So now if you look from there, okay, in the matter of my participants not coming to me for coaching, I'm causing the matter of that. Now, what immediately from that view, like imagine you just put on those pairs of glasses to look out at this situation from the view that I'm causing the matter of those participants not coming to me for coaching, what immediately opens up?
Putting structures in place with them. Having them maybe call me, like there's a participant that I have her call me every day at 10 o'clock to talk about her integrity, and setting up more structures with the participants that's not coming to me very often, so I can get to know them better.
Okay, good. What else? I want you to come up with 5 new things that are openings for action you never saw before whilst you were throwing your hands up being a victim of them not coming to you for coaching. Now that you've declared, and have you declared that in the matter of them not coming to you for coaching, you're causing the matter?
Yes.
Is that real for you? Is it alive for you? Like,
yes.
Yeah. So you could create structures with the people who are not calling you. What else shows up as openings for action?
I could maybe do like group meetings together with all my participants.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
We could do like homework nights where we get together, shares workshops together.
Good. Let me ask you shockingly, could you reach out to them when they're not reaching out to you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was genius. Like you can actually call them if they're not calling you. Good. What else?
Yes. Yeah, I'm always like, well, I'm not going to drag them along. That's
That's right. Because that allows you to continue being right about being a victim and a poor me. If you actually called them, you couldn't have been poor you.
Right.
Good. What's another action?
Calling them. Oh my gosh. What else can I do?
Yeah.
I mean, I think just calling them daily and seeing how they're doing, just asking how they're doing.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Like calling them when you don't have an agenda.
Yeah.
Where you actually are interested in them.
Yeah.
You know, for some of you who like Mandy, the people who are not taking your calls or they're not reaching out to you, maybe it's because it's gotten clear for them you're not actually interested in them.
Yeah.
You're completing some checklist or checking some box. Or somehow they haven't gotten you are their champion. Great. Maybe even, Mandy, can you see the possibility of even sharing with them what you just shared with us?
Yeah. I can
Like,
share with them.
guys, I've been throwing my hands up here. Like I'm just like, these guys just don't call me. And I realize I'm not reaching out to you because I've been avoiding, it's called like an enrollment conversation. I think you guys have heard about those around the trap somewhere. You could enroll them in a new possibility. You could enroll them in seeing you guys coming together as a team. You see, you came up with 3 or 4 actions. I could put structures in existence that really support people. I could just touch base and say, how you doing for 20 seconds or a minute here and there. So they, I can connect with them. Do you get that, Mandy?
I do.
Yeah. Now, do you have that same experience of struggle?
Yeah. I don't always reach out.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
No, I mean like that whole experience you had at the beginning of this conversation where it's like, well, these people don't call me. I don't know what to do. Is that still there or did that?
Oh, got it. No, it's not.
It's not, right?
Yeah.
And it's everybody, when it starts with, when you say that to yourself, like when I say to myself in the forum, like, gosh, 60% of them didn't come to do the assignment. That's me like saying what you said, Mandy, in the matter of them not reaching out to me. I'm causing the matter. It really is a powerful way to start that, to like, okay, in the matter of my participants not bringing guests, let's say if that's the issue, they're not being effective at having guests. In that matter, I'm causing the matter. In that moment, what does it create you being, Mandy?
Like a victim.
No, in the moment you say, in the matter of that, I haven't been being caused in the matter. As soon as you acknowledge that you have not been caused in the matter of that matter, what does that actually create?
It creates you being caused in the matter.
It creates you being caused in the matter. That's the point. So you're looking over there to distinguish that, because in that moment, you're giving yourself the gift of having a say. Not making yourself wrong or beating yourself up or any of that old context of responsibility. No, in that moment, it's like you're putting your hands on the steering wheel of this situation, not hands off like, I don't know what to do. You got that, Mandy?
Yes, I do.
Great. And for everybody, this is what I recommend for you. With your head coaches, that in the next 24 hours, that you reach out to your head coach and you make that same declaration that Mandy did. Okay, here's what I've been being at the effect of. In the matter of my participants not showing up to their agreements, I have not been causing the matter, and I am now causing the matter of that. And here are the 3 actions I can see that I never saw to see. And if you can't see openings for action, then you haven't authentically created yourself as causing the matter. You're paying lip service to that, but still blaming them or circumstances or a situation or some way that you quote it is, think it is. Because the moment you authentically create that, wow, I mean, this is going down in my life that these people aren't calling me. This is going down in my life that these people around me I'm accountable for are not being successful. Man, really, I'm going to pretend I'm some leaf in the breeze of all of this? I'm really not going to give myself the say that I have a say in the matter here of people and life around me. But the moment you authentically do that, all of a sudden you see this action you could take and that action you could take. And there's no guarantee those actions will be effective. But at least now you're no longer a leaf in the breeze of some situation or circumstance or mood or thought. You're at least now acting consistent with being caused in the matter. Your integrity is whole and complete. You're now acting consistent with someone who is caused in the matter. Remember, no one guarantees results anywhere. If we had that answer, we would have given that to you already. But for sure, someone functioning with integrity and being caused in the matter back to back, you're a force to be reckoned with. They're not going to be able to escape you. Great. Thank you, Mandy. Let's acknowledge Mandy. Good job for being public. And if we had like 10 hours together, we would do 8 or 9 or 10 more of you having that same conversation. But I do count on head coaches and classroom leaders that every coach has had the opportunity to really acknowledge this with you, where in the matter of X, whatever X is that you've been disempowered about or struggling with, I'm causing the matter of that. And in that moment, it authentically creates you being caused in the matter, and openings for action will show up. By the way, as you practice that, guess what your participants start being infected with? The same thing. As you work with them, that's the way to work with them. Okay, wow, you've got this person in your life that you are being ineffective at registering. Okay, let's take the stand. In the matter of my dad registering, I'm caused in the matter. Now, what do you see? It's the same coaching you can apply with your participants. In any area they're at the effect of something or life or some circumstance. And it's important, really important, that you get that that's not some club you use on people. No, this is a gift they give themselves. Like, listen, I'm really out to give you power here. So let's look together. Where have you not been caused in the matter here? And now you're creating being caused. That's like giving themselves back their hands on the steering wheel of life. They've got a say now versus being at the effect. Great. So we want to now take this view and stand for yourself of being caused in the matter, and we want to get it on the court. Because raise your hand if for you, raise your physical hand, if for you you've bumped up against, okay, somebody's not being effective, I'm not quite sure how to begin this conversation. or somebody keeps not showing up to their assisting and I'm not sure where to go, or somebody's like being ineffective in some way, but I don't know how to work with them on managing the existence of themselves or something. Raise your hands if you kind of don't know how to open the conversation about certain things, like you don't know what the opening questions would be. Yeah, Kim's like, yeah, me, Kim in Atlanta. You're like, hello, yes. Right. Well, guess what? Santa Claus is coming to town. So we have created, hang on one second. I jumped. We're going to get to that in a moment. Okay. We're going to get to that in a moment. Thank you, Madeline, for reminding me. I jumped in my timeline. All right. So before we get to that, Santa Claus is coming to town, but not yet. Okay. We want to get this right on the court now with you being cause in the matter of your coaching. So Madeline, over to you.
Okay, well, Santa Claus already came to town because in your coach's binder, you have one of the most sourceful, impactful documents that right on the court gives you openings for action. Now, we could only have this conversation with people of integrity and people who have taken the stand and made the declaration, I'm cause in the matter. But this document is an enormous pathway, and it's the preparation for your coaching calls. Now, it says preparation for the coaching calls, and of course, that's what you'd use it for. And it's also a wealth of opening for action and sourcefulness anytime you're coaching, anytime you pick up a call from your participant. So in a moment, I'm going to draw your attention to it, and we're actually going to discover together what's in that document that could make the difference in your interactions with people. And then I'm going to have one of our coaches really share with you the power and possibility of doing this work on the court. So if you go to your coach's binder, Lois, you can display the document right now, but in your coach's binder, it's actually on page 13 of your coach's binder. Now, this may or may not be familiar to you, depending on whether you've been operating with integrity.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to confess right now.
This is not a confessional, but you may or may not be very familiar with this. And if you are familiar with it, I request you now listen from the world of having taken the stand that I'm cause in the matter. So you can see here, you know, minimally, when you do your preparation, you'll do once weekly preparation prior to your coaching calls. So you might do it for all of your coaching calls, or you might do it per coaching call that you do that week. And what you want to really start with is distinguishing what's already in the clearing you are for each of those coaching calls. Now, you can hear a lot of what is in the clearing that you are coming out of your mouths when you talk about what you're struggling with. So you'd be wanting to look at, well, what is my view? What opinion or racket about myself or the participant do I have? Am I listening from and about to speak and create from a concern for like getting them to do something? Got to get those zeros off zero. Or maybe it might even be doing the right thing. Like, don't screw this coaching call up, or make sure you're only speaking from the world of this program. And one of the most powerful accesses that you have to that is the blow by blow, step by step, how to distinguish an inauthenticity in this binder. Now, the magic's here. When you see Manal interacting with someone or one of the leaders of the program, and that kind of interaction where someone is literally in a new world at the end of the interaction, not the same human being, it's somebody, a leader who's mastered this work. And I highly recommend that you get together with coaching buddies or maybe as a group and really do the work to be at the source of this. You know, you want to say things like, hang on a sec. When I look at the default context that everybody is thrown to go to when things aren't working, we're thrown to try and figure out what to do. What is that saying there? What is that? Until you're fully at the source of distinguishing an inauthenticity. And then you're someone who is equipped with that in any moment, in any conversation with your people. So Lois, if you can move down, because this is all of this is about the blow by blow, how to distinguish an inauthenticity. Thank you. And stop. Go up a little bit, just a little more. Thank you. Now, obviously, this is, stop there, thanks. Thank you. Obviously, this is also directly out of the workbook exercise from the introduction, and a very deep and rich access for you to be able to do the real work in distinguishing an inauthenticity. So you would do that with yourself. Then the third point here is you create who the participants are. You know, there you are, you've distinguished an inauthenticity. You've really confronted the impact of that. And then from there, you've looked and you've created a new possibility. And then you look out in the direction of the participant and you create, who are these participants for me? And you'd want to notice then, is there anything inconsistent in my listening of that person? Being a leader of Landmark. And then really come to those calls. By the way, you could do that in 10 seconds. You know, the phone rings, it's a participant, and you go, hang on a second, who am I about to speak to here? Before you pick up the phone. So really actively creating your listening. Then the fourth thing is, everything you could ever possibly need as a coach is in your source materials. So you would read and ground yourself in the purpose and the promises, the orientation of the introduction for leadership of this program, the stand you take, the statement of accountability for coaches, the job of an introduction leader program coach. If you simply created from any one of those places, there will be something forceful and powerful in your interactions. And then you've got number 5, and here's where it really gets on the court, because a lot of you talk about, I've got those people at 0. See, I would assert that when you look at those zeros from a pre-existing default context, a world doesn't open up for you when you look at those numbers. And it's possible to have a world open up when you look at those numbers. You know, you read each person's statistics and, importantly, the promise they've made for the week. And then you want to look at, how does that speak to you? What is that saying about that person? And then before you get on the call, you'll review your resource material. Again, there's an enormous amount in both your binder and the participant binder. So I'd like to have someone share.
Just before you say anything further, and when Madeline says, what does this tell you about them? Against what those measures measure? What does it tell you about where they might be constrained? What does it tell you about what they might be bumping up against? What does it tell you about where they're stopped? So go ahead, Madeline.
All right. So Lois, if you could please drop that document. And there's a coach that we have in the Introduction Leaders program. Her name is Sally Stent. Sally, I'm sending you a prompt to unmute yourself. There you go. And Sally, I'd like you to just share with us, you know, on the court, what does it look like to be someone who's used by this?
Yeah, well, what I've found works is, so I have my calls on a Tuesday. So Sunday night, I put aside 1 hour and I look at their dashboards and I think about the conversations I've had with them. I look at anything that's not showing up as a leader of Landmark, and I do the work on distinguishing an inauthenticity, which is normally about 1 or 2 people in my group. And then I work out what it is I'm going to do to transform them. But the thing is, I've done that before, but what really works is when I get on the call with them, I tell them this. I tell them the whole process. And they love it. Like, they're really enrolled that I've done the work to think about their life.
And what do you say, Sal? What do you say to them when you get on the call?
Yeah, I say, I'll say, you know, and, you know, I was really stuck with coaching you last week. So I went and did some work to distinguish what was there for me. And I decided that, that you're just really stuck and that I won't be able to understand your communication. And then she laughed and then I laughed. And then, and I said, what I can see is, like, you are a leader of this work and you're hugely committed. And, you know, what I can see to do is that there's I want to coach you around enrollment conversations and your communication. She's like, okay, yeah, because I've been, you know, stuffing it up with my home introduction. And yeah, so it kind of just goes like that. It's really, it flows. Yeah, and then the next thing I'll say is, I'll do as much as I can on the call, but then I'll say, hey, can you work with your buddy after this call to mock this conversation? And then the buddy's totally enrolled that they get to make a difference because they can see their buddy's stuck. And then, you know, I didn't cause it, they've caused it themselves, and then they share on the WhatsApp, and it just kind of moves like that. And then, yeah, when I share my inauthenticity, they want to be able to do that too. So they go to the folder and go and do it with each other. So.
And tell us about your development plan for each participant.
Well, I think it's really messy because that was just scribbles all over a bit of paper, and then in the call at some point I'll say, you know, Britt, based on you inviting 3 people and nobody showing up, I can see there's this to do. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so you take notes on the calls with them and you're listening for what's missing. And when you look at the dashboards and their statistics, how are those numbers speaking to you? What do they say?
Yeah, I'm really working with them on weekly measures at the moment. So it's interesting because some will say, you know, 1 guest, 0 registrations, and then they'll be surprised they haven't registered anyone. Or someone will be 5 and 5 and then nothing happens. So there's always there's just like what they promise and what happens, and I can kind of listen for what's going on between the numbers. Yeah.
And give us an example of what's going on between the numbers.
What's an example? So one of them might say, well, I think that was one that they'll say, okay, look, I can't promise a registration, don't know how to do that, but I can promise a guest. And then they have a guest to a home introduction and then they don't register. And then we look at, well, what if you gave your word to someone who would register? What actions would have been different in, you know, being your word around that? And they're like, oh, I could have la, 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 or something like that. So they can see that, their promise opens up new actions as well, if they have a relationship to being their word. Yeah.
And if they don't have a relationship to being their word, where do you go to?
Well, then we just look at the impact of not being your word in other areas of life, say with relationships or fitness or something else, and then they can see it directly links a life to the program.
Yeah, very good. And so where do you get all this from? Because you're saying, everybody, you ought to know, this is so who Sally is. She's like a ridiculously effective coach, and it's so who she is. When I ask her what's the source of it, she literally has to think about her answer. And can't tell. But when you look at these people, Sal, and you look at the what so with their numbers, and then you listen to their conversations and you're taking notes in the call, what are you holding it all up against?
Yeah, it's simple for me. It's just being a leader of Landmark. If what they're doing or saying is not that, then it's like I interrupt, and they know now I interrupt a lot, and they used to hate it, but now they like it. But like I just go, hey, that's not a match to what you say, which is, purpose of the program. Yeah. Yeah.
And everything for you is up against, here's my person, here's the purpose and the promises of the program. Now, what's the gap between that? And then where do you go to come up with all the exercises you give the buddies, or the personalized transformational homework? Where do you go to get that?
Yeah, it's the cornerstones of listening, or like the distinguishing and inauthenticity. It's a folder. It's called a folder. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we give you guys a folder with something useful in it? Did we do that? Great, Madeline. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Sally, I think the only thing that's not yet rich out here for other people is Sal really does have a development plan for her people. She's like, right, I'm the coach. I'm developing my people. Right, I've got Paul and Bert, and those two are buddies. And I'm going to go and see what's missing against the real possibility in the world of the purpose being realized in the world, of them being a leader of Landmark. Okay, they're stopped when they go to actually ask someone in a registration conversation. Okay, well, leader of Landmark can't get stuck there. They're leashed by something. And she'll go to, oh, there's an inauthenticity. Or she'll go to, they're just not practicing. And she'll go to the participant binder and she'll come up with mocks, so the recreation mocks or mocks straight out of the introduction. And there's a real plan to head her people forward. And then she holds the buddies to account for causing each other in the development plan. And her people walk around leaders of Landmark. And they know when they're not. You know, it's really obvious to them.
That's great. Great, Sally. Awesome, Madeline. Raise your hands if you guys got openings for action from all of that. Raise your hands if you saw. Let me just look. Keep your hands on. Let me look around the screen. You can see some openings for action. At best, great ideas, but not at best. At least, I meant to say, at least a great idea, if not a big opening for action. Great. All right, awesome. Thank you, Sally, and thank you, Madeline, for that. So that's a very powerful tool there. What's another tool we've got for you? Santa Claus came to town. So here it is. I put together opening questions in the different areas where you may be bumping up against something. Everybody cheer. Okay, let me show it to you. This is straight out of the development between the second and third weekends. Let's have a look at this together. And we're going to get this to your classroom leaders who are going to get it to you. Okay, so where you're working with someone on being uniquely extraordinary, what is that? That's where the context for the measures, that they're being uniquely extraordinary. If that person was being effective with their measures, you'd ask them, okay, what happened? What difference got made? What distinctions made a difference? If they weren't being effective with their measures, you could ask them, well, what happened? How were you being that was inauthentic? What's the impact of being that way on yourself and others? Then in that space, what new possibility are you inventing for yourself and your life in this area of your life? What distinctions are you taking on to have a breakthrough in? So if you listen to Sally, you can hear that's one access you can work with. Another access is being cause in the matter. Somebody's being ineffective in some area, including performance. Well, you could ask them, well, what are you not willing to be cause in the matter of with regards to registering people in the forum? What are all your becauses? Or what are you not willing for another to be cause in the matter of with regards to registering in the forum? What is it you assign cause to over there with them? In standing in your word to be cause in the matter, what actions can you now see? You come across, as you're working with someone who's really stopped in expressing themselves. You might work from the poems. Could we put that to the top, please, Lois? You might work from the poems. You could ask them, like we asked them after the poems, what considerations were you in a dance with? What's there in your listening getting in the way of you being free to be out here with that person? Or in what way, if you're debriefing a conversation with someone where something didn't work, you could ask them, in what way were your actions in a dance with the listening you had? What are you letting go of such that you're free to be out here dancing in the conversation? You know, where somebody's integrity is lacking, you could, like we did at the weekend, you could ask them, well, what were you managing the existence of yourself as you did or did not do X? Can you see you were being familiar? Let's distinguish. What were you managing the existence of yourself as? Were you managing the existence of yourself as everything matters? What did that look like? And then presencing for them, there's no accident to who you manage the existence of yourself as. Every expression is you managing the existence of yourself as something. Then against the background of relatedness, as they're working with people in their life, you can support them to get that how you listen can determine what the other says and doesn't say. What's the always way you listen to the people in your life who you're sharing with? See what would actually happen from there, from that listening. How would you interact? What would be some appropriate and empowering ways to listen to who these people are? So none of those are right. These are just literally straight from the manual, straight from the exercises we did in the weekend. So it'll support you in standing on the shoulders of the questions we ask them. in the weekend. So you can continue to build on the distinctions of the weekend. And you can use any move. You can go to being cause in the matter. You can go to managing the existence of yourself as something. You can look from where their self-expression is constrained. How many of you are happy to have these questions? Raise your hands. How many of you are happy to have those questions? All right, good. I'm going to make you even happier. I made it into a really, really cute display. Okay, so we're going to send you both. Let's show them the cute display I created. Ta-da! And I used that picture to remind you to have some fun, okay? So you can have some fun, play, joy whilst you're doing it. So those questions that were in that document are in each one of these boxes. So you can have it on one sheet, in a plastic sleeve, in your folder or something, so you've got a perfect resource to go to whenever you've got questions to ask. Okay, who's happy that Santa came to town? Okay, good. Awesome. So we're now going to practice. Are you ready? Everybody just stand up and have a quick stretch. Stand up and have a quick stretch. Have a stretch, move around, do whatever you need to do. As you can see, when all systems go here, there's a lot to create together, and we want you to leave with big openings for action. All right, so you're ready to get to work. Here we go. So what we're going to move to next is we're actually going to do some mocking, some practicing. Okay, so you ready? What you're going to do is we're going to take different scenarios. We're going to give you the opportunity to interact with another coach, where that coach is your participant, and you're going to tell the coach what the situation is, and then they're going to be that participant, and then you're going to work from the questions. I think the easiest one to display, Lois, would be the Word document rather than the brochure. It's hard to read the writing on the flyer. Could we put up the Word document? Great, thank you. And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Lois. Is there any way you can turn that into a 2-page document so they can see all the questions straight at the same time? I don't know how to do that, but you might. Oh my gosh, you're such a genius. Okay, so Bert is going to work with you. Bert and Madeline are going to work with you, and Clarice potentially as well. They're going to work with you to coach. So who would like to, first we're going to start with somebody who is bumping up against having a breakdown with a participant who has a breakdown in their integrity. They don't do their assignments, or they're not showing up to their assisting, or they don't call you, somewhere with their integrity where they're not honoring their word. And one of you is going to be the coach and one of you is going to be the participant. So let's have, who just raised their hand? We're going to have Lois Weaver. You're going to be the coach. And Yolanda Smith, you're going to be the participant. So that you'll get the value of that coaching as well. So both of you unmute.
Okay.
Great. And Lois, tell Yolanda briefly what you're bumping up against so she knows who to be.
Yolanda, you're not reporting your statistics, and you're not returning my calls. You're not responding to my messages. You're telling me you'll do things and not doing them.
All right, that's pretty clear. Everybody got a participant at least like that you can identify with this here? All right, good. So Yolanda, you're going to be that person, okay? And just authentically interact as if you really are that person. And if you get an opening, authentically step into that. I'm not asking you to be a bad participant, in other words. Just authentically engage with Lois in the conversation, okay? And Bert is going to listen and empower what's happening. Now, can you see those questions, Lois?
No.
Go to gallery view. That might make it easier.
Okay.
Gallery view. Can you see them now?
Yes.
Oh, we'll see if we can make them a little bigger.
Thank you.
Great. All right, Lois, there you go. You've got Yolanda on the phone. This person who's not returning calls. Stand in the questions. I'll be there in a sec. Thank you, Lois. It's so great you did that on the hop like that. Great. All right, Lois, hit it.
Hi, Yolanda.
Hi, Lois.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Did you report your statistics?
You know what? I didn't, but I know I told you that I was going to. I just didn't have time. My job, I had a last minute thing I needed to attend, and I'll just get to it as soon as I can.
Oh, I got that, Yolanda. What can you, when can you do that? Can you give me a time?
Let me see.
You have an agreement to submit them on Thursday at 6, and it's Monday at 10 p.m.
I know. I've just been really busy. I have a project on my job, and I've just really, I know. I'm so awful at keeping my word. I get it. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, nothing is wrong, Yolanda.
Okay. Thank
Nothing
you.
is
I'm
wrong.
glad. But I'm just
No,
super.
but you would you use restored integrity?
Sure.
You know the structure?
Sure.
Let's go through it.
Okay, so yes, Lois, I told you that I would have my stats in. I agreed to have my stats in by 6 o'clock on Thursday. And the impact over here with me is that I didn't keep my word, and now I'm hiding out. And so, yeah, that's the impact over here with me. Is there any impact over there with you?
What's the impact on others?
The impact on others based upon the text that you sent, it looks like they're waiting. Seems like everybody is waiting for me to turn my stats in. And so, I told you initially I hide. So that's what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of hiding out because I know I'm impacting others. Yeah.
So what is the structure you can put in place?
The structure that I can put in place moving forward is actually have my stats complete by Wednesday.
Right. What time on Wednesday?
Probably like 9 o'clock p.m., no later than 9 o'clock. I can see myself doing that.
Okay. Will you send me a text when you
Lois,
complete the stats on Wednesday at 9?
Lois?
Yes.
Hi, it's Bert.
Hi, Bert.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Thank you.
Let me ask you something. How's this going for you?
Not so good.
Yeah. Now, I have another question for you. Have you done this before?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was like absolutely nothing new happening on this call.
There's nothing
new happening on this in this mock right now, in this interaction, because you've done this before.
Yes.
This way, in other words, right? You mean like this way?
This way.
Now tell me, Lois, why do you think it's not going well?
I think it's not going well because I'm getting a result. She's saying what I want her to say, that she's going to do it at a certain time, but I'm not getting that she's getting the difference that I'm not getting that I'm making a difference with her.
Yeah, look, hold on. There's just so much gold in what you just said. I hope everybody didn't miss it.
Yeah.
I really hope you didn't miss it. Say it again. I'm just doing what?
What I'm getting is that she's doing what I'm telling her to do, and she's following me, but she's not getting the impact, and I'm not making a difference.
And what you said to begin with is that's a function of you doing what? Do you remember?
I'm leading her.
Yeah, you're leading her to get something
what to do, and she's saying that she'll do what I tell her to do.
Yeah, you're
But
leading her to
she's
just
not discovering.
Do you remember you said that? I'm just getting something done that I need to get done.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's very, very critical. Everybody get that. This is one of the big pitfalls in coaching is called handling people. We put it in quotes. You're handling something with people and handling people. Listen, you said you'd get this done. You said you'd be on your assisting. How come you weren't there? When are you going to be at your assisting? What's your promise? What's your structure for existence? Can you hear it's all like management? It's just managing something. You get that right, Lois, because it came out of your mouth.
I got it.
Everyone else that didn't get it, right?
Handler.
Raise your hand if you can hear yourself in some way handling something or managing things with people like that. Yeah, very clear. It's super counterproductive. How do you know? Just check it out how it goes for you when someone's doing that with you. It's not very productive. It's in fact dominating in a certain sense and not over there with the other person, right? Anything else you see that didn't work, Lois?
Yeah, what I see is that it's super non-productive because it keeps recurring.
That's right, because as you said, she's just going to tell you what you want to hear. Why? Because she's functioning. Everybody really listen up to this. It's not that she's lying. If you listen to Yolanda, you can hear she's got a real commitment to being her word. She's like even feels bad about it, you know. But what didn't happen in the conversation was any alteration in the world that she's trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing opened up for her regarding a new opening. She's just left with, I've got all this pressure at work,
mm-hmm.
plus now a new promise to be a good person and send my stats in.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've just got one more added burden on there. Can you get that, Lois?
Yeah, and she's also still in, like, even though she says what she said, she's still in the world of morality.
Very good. Now, what worked in the interaction?
What worked was that she was able to go through the steps.
Okay, but there's something you did that worked. Yolanda, tell her what it was.
I restored integrity, and I thought I was willing to be coachable.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's something very simple. Did you all experience a shift happen in the conversation as soon as Lois said, listen, there's nothing wrong here?
Yes.
You all experienced like a shift immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I immediately.
Like, there's immediate space to breathe. Yeah. Okay. You do understand that the already always clearing human beings is that there is something wrong. Mm. That's just forever going to be there like a broken wing. We all, at some point, landed in the interpretation there's something wrong here. It's particularly wrong with me. And so you're attending to, look, there's nothing wrong here. Like, really, there's nothing wrong. This is from nothing. Made a really big difference.
Thank you.
Good. But why don't you demo that interaction? Why don't you now be Lois talking to her participant, okay? Now, by the way, whatever Bert does, shame on you if you write down tips. Okay, because that it'll just go badly. If we had formulas, we'd give you formulas. So I invite you to listen and watch Bert have that interaction to discover something about what's possible in the interaction rather than to get a formula. Does everyone promise? All right, because Lois, you're going to do it after he's done it. So listen cleanly. Go ahead, Bert.
I want to be clear, you didn't turn in your statistics again, right? That's the
issue.
Okay. So, hi, Yolanda. Thanks for making your coaching call on time.
Hi, Bert.
Hi. So, guess what we're doing on today's call?
I know what we're doing.
Well, let me tell you what we're going to be doing today. So today, actually, I'm actually going to cause a breakthrough with you in an area of where there's a lack of integrity in one of the things that you're accountable for in this program. And that is with you actually submitting your statistics on time. So you ready for that?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to transform that. Okay. All right, because actually, Yolanda, you have not submitted your statistics on time for, we're now like 10 weeks into the program, and this is still something that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So today we're going to actually cause a transformation and actually have you break through whatever that is. So I want to have you now look at this area. When it comes to you submitting your statistics on time, we're going to just go right where, using the distinctions of the program. what were or who were you managing the existence of yourself as when you did not or you have not submitted your statistics on time? Or let me ask you a question before we do that. Are you committed to having this breakthrough that we're about to have right now?
I would love to have this breakthrough.
Okay, great. Good. That's really great. So I want to go back to the question that I have. Now that you're committed to having this breakthrough, what or who were you managing the existence of yourself as when you did not submit your statistics every week? Just one of you look.
Well, I mean, like, do you really want me to be like just super, super honest here?
Yeah. No, be dishonest with me. Of course I want you to be honest.
So I was literally managing myself. I'm managing myself as being like the top leader in my company, and kind of like.
Just stop for a second. I want you to actually, I just wanted the language to be correct. Like, you are managing the existence of yourself as.
Okay, so I was managing myself as
Managing the existence of myself as.
I was managing the existence of self as.
Of myself as.
Of myself as.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has to be number one in my company. And, you know, that's just how I've been managing the existence of myself as. And this, getting the stats, just, it would really be like just like last on my list of things to do.
Okay. I want you to, I got what you said, so that let's just look at that. If you were managing the existence of yourself as being top in your company, is someone who is examining the existence of yourself as top in your company, is that consistent with not turning your statistic? I need to hear more about that. Like, in what way were you managing yourself that you think it's one or the other? Because if you are top of your company, someone who's top of their company, how is that inconsistent with turning in your statistics?
Well,
like, why can't you do both?
Actually, yeah, I could absolutely do both. I think too that because I'm a little disorganized, even though I'm like at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes up extra time because I'm a little disorganized in that area.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So how were you managing the existence of yourself? You just said it.
I know. I don't want to say it again.
No,
So
no.
I'm managing the existence of myself as someone who is disorganized.
Yes. You were managing the existence of yourself as someone who's disorganized. And is that familiar for you?
Yeah.
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 Now, Yolanda, what's that like for you? Going through life, managing the existence of yourself as disorganized?
Sometimes or oftentimes it's like, you know, it's frustrating, and actually it's embarrassing. So my default way of being is I'll hide out or withdraw because I know that I've let people down, maybe that were counting on me having a document in or something like that. Yeah, I make it mean that, you know, I'm not like I'm a bad person, but it's something like that. So I'll just hide out. I just won't return calls. I just won't respond to anybody. And that's what I do.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, and then the other side to that is that it just allows for me to feel like I'm in control of doing what I want to do, and I'm not accountable.
Yeah, don't get bought off with that. Because are you actually in control of doing what you want to do?
No, it's so interesting because it's actually like I'm out of control because I'm so disorganized.
Exactly, because it's not actually interesting. It's so inauthentic.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, it's inauthentic. And I'm not willing to have you live one more day with a loss of power, being embarrassed, hiding out, being actually inauthentic, thinking you got things handled, you know, this whole big pretense. And not being the magnificent, uniquely extraordinary human being that's possible for you. So I want you to look, instead of the stand that you took in being in this program, what if you were managing the existence of yourself that everything, and I mean everything, matters? What if you were managing the existence of yourself that everything matters? What do you now see?
What would that look like
in this current situation? It would look like I would actually set aside time to just keep my word and be my word and turn my stats in.
No.
Yeah.
That's too simple for complicated minds like all y'all.
Wow. I would, yeah.
Yeah.
And not just my stats, I would respond to, you know, I would actually just take on having a life of integrity. Oh, wow, I can see a lot of things if yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be the someone who is the top of her company.
Yeah.
That's a magnificent, you know, uniquely extraordinary, top of her game, leading the way. I think we actually call that a force of nature around here.
I can see that.
Yeah. Forever altered in who you know yourself to be and what you're capable of. Not managing the existence of yourself as some disorganized, you know, that's not who you are. That's just who you manage the existence of yourself as, and you have been going through life that way. So Manal, well, let me ask you one last question, Yolanda. Do you now have an access to now having your word prevail, to actually honoring your word? Like no nonsense anymore. This is not about your statistics. It's about you being the kind of human being that honors your word, that what you say matters, that everything matters. Do you have an access to that now?
I do. I do.
Great. Manal, I was going to stop here so we could.
Yeah, right. All right, Lois, what did you hear? Distinct.
Well, I guess that the most impactful thing was that I heard that it's not doing, it's being. It's who she gets to be in the conversation that will make a difference for her and for me.
Beautiful. Okay, good. Now you do it.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yolanda.
Just start, and let's just hear you in a new world with Yolanda, okay?
Okay, great.
Don't worry about getting it right. Let's just hear if you can get your feet wet in this new world that Bert just demonstrated.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yolanda, hi.
Hi, Lois.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little busy, but I'm good.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for acknowledging you for being on the call. I appreciate you being on time.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. No problem.
Yolanda, you didn't report your statistics.
I know.
Yeah. You have an agreement to report them on Thursday at 6.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the 9th week of the program, and this is persistent now. So would you like to have a breakthrough in this area?
Yeah, I certainly, I would love to.
Great. Do you mind if we work on that before we
Not
do
at all.
anything else on the call?
No, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. So when you did not submit your statistics on Thursday, who were you at 6? Who were you managing the existence of yourself as?
I was managing the existence of myself as the person I am always, like just super busy, just kind of running around and getting things done like in a disorganized way.
I got that. So you were managing yourself as the existence of someone who's disorganized.
Yeah, like getting things done in the
Busy,
disorganized.
running around. Busy?
Yeah, busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's that like for you?
Sometimes it's extremely tiresome, and then sometimes it's like fun. But most times, I'm kind of tired. Yeah, most times.
Right.
And sometimes it's fun too.
Right. So, so you're tired and sometimes you're having fun
Yes.
when you're busy and disorganized.
Yes.
And does that show up in other areas of your life besides reporting statistics?
No, it shows up.
Does it?
Yeah, it
Right.
shows up in other places. Yeah.
Right. And what's the impact?
What do you mean? What's the impact?
Well, what is the impact of what is the impact in the areas of your life where you are busy and tired and sometimes having fun and being disorganized?
Gosh, you know what? Yeah, the impact is, at least in my work environment, I can be a little short with people, or a little, little snippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, it's not even at work. It's actually at home.
Yeah.
In my relationships. Yeah.
So your relationships at work and at home are short sometimes, and it has an impact.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what could you put in? What way, if you manage yourself as the existence of, that would make a difference in those areas, in your relationships, at work and at home?
I didn't understand your question.
So managing your existence as a self of what would make a difference in?
Managing myself as the existence of, managing the existence of myself as someone who is, I guess it's okay to be busy. I just need to be organized, more organized without being busy.
And would being organized, managing yourself as the existence of someone who's organized and reporting your statistics, would that make a difference in other areas of your life?
Well, I'm going to say, yeah, managing myself as existence of someone who is more organized. Yeah, it will make a difference in my life. I don't know over here with the statistics if it will make a difference, other than, I guess it would, because I wouldn't have to hide out and kind of like feel ashamed or embarrassed. Yeah.
So if you weren't hiding out and feeling ashamed because you were managing the existence of yourself as organized, what would those relationships be like?
Oh, they'd probably be less tense.
Less tense? Yeah, less tense. And what would that be like?
Probably bring some lightness to it, like,
Yeah,
yeah, because
good.
Tense and tension.
Does that inspire you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to have,
Okay. So what about bringing lightness and less tension to reporting statistics?
Bring it home, Lois. Come on.
Okay,
What would that be like?
You know what? Actually, it would be really good because when that time comes to do the statistics, I get so tense.
Yeah.
Because I'm so, it's like I know I'm disorganized and I make that be a part of my disorganized way of being. So gosh, if I could have, oh my, you have no idea. I wouldn't be stressed out like,
Yeah, Yolanda, you know that you're not disorganized. You're managing yourself as the existence of being disorganized, but you can manage yourself as the existence of being organized, and you can be light and have fun.
How?
You choose.
Oh, Lois, you could do it. Remember practices. Remember practices that we practice to manage the existence of ourselves. Come on, keep going.
So managing the existence of yourself as light and organized, what would the impact be for you?
No, practices. What would be the practice?
What are the practices you can put in place to manage the existence of yourself as organized?
I could actually put some structures in place to just cut off my day at a certain time. And I, like, on the day before my stats are due, I could actually set aside a certain time and also enroll my buddy as an accountability for me in this area, and even my coach. And that's not anything I've done.
Great.
All right, let's stop it there. Lois, what was your experience of that this time around?
Well, I had the experience that I was making a difference.
Yeah.
That there was a difference, that she, like, from start to finish, there was a shift in her being.
All right, very good. And there was a shift in yours too.
Yes.
You know, you started out a little bit kind of tentative and not sure where to go. You know, one of the things for sure is you do want to notice everybody that in the conversation, Lois, both times you had a pull to try to make something happen in the conversation to begin with. Okay, versus authentically just being there for, gosh, do you guys remember the distinction? Have you discovered the distinction that people's actions are always in a dance with the way the world occurs for them? So they're not wrong for not getting the stats in. It's just a perfect correlate to the way life occurs for her. And if you just would start from there, then there'd be nothing wrong, including, do you know you haven't gotten your statistics in? That's a conversation, a start to a conversation that's guaranteed to create a space of something's wrong. You get that? As distinct from the way. But that's it. Tonight's the night for a breakthrough, Yolanda. You ready for a breakthrough? What in? Well, no more. You know, like a real freedom to be in the conversation.
I got it.
You got that, Lois? You ended there. You were great as you worked in, had her see it in her life, had her enrolled in some new possibility, and then you would practice together, look together. Okay, what would be a practice? Now, practice is not, structure's a part of practice, but she could also practice, you know, something like, when I have the thought, I don't have time to do that, stop and do it right now. That's a practice that somebody could practice, like something you do on an ongoing basis that gives you being in the present. Great. Can you see that that's something for you to practice?
Yes.
Oh, very good. And then the last thing I want to say about it, because you did a great job. There was raise your hands if you can see a real correction there, like a real on the court, immediate correction, black and white almost, from where she was to now what she's interested in. Lois, that is. Lois is, sorry for the she. What Lois is interested in is really distinguishing something with Yolanda. Do you guys know that's like a done deal there? If you get on those calls and you're really committed to not handling something or managing something, but leaving someone with a new opening, you'll discover you're somewhat of a genius. Okay? But the last thing I want to say to you, and if this is a where the shoe fits conversation, good Lord, were you calling a guest in an introduction or someone you've been coaching for 10 weeks? You guys have got to really create your relationship with these people like you are their champion. Get how you were tentative there, Lois? Are you like that with your actual participants? Where you're kind of looking hesitant and kind of don't want to step on their toes or don't want to be, no?
No.
All right, good. That's good to hear. So, you know, you saw how Bert was right in with Yolanda, like, okay, time to have a breakthrough. We're not living with this for another, it's 10 weeks. This is the way it's been. You want to be talking to their bigness, not their smallness. You want to be speaking to them, that you're talking to someone who one day will be leading the forum.
Or the advanced course.
Or the advanced course, or being a center manager, or being a self-expression leadership program leader. You're talking to the, well, look, I had a coach. Thank goodness they never talked to me like I was small and fragile. Or else I don't know if I'd be here. Great work, Lois. Thank you.
Thank you, Manal.
Thank you, Yolanda.
Manal, for the next scenario, I'd like to go to, let's acknowledge them. I'd like to go to, Sheeta has been raising her hand all the time in Toronto. And let's also have Tamika from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, good. In this next scenario, we want to mock and practice together. Mock's the bad word. We want to practice together having an interaction with a participant who has not been performing, either with guests, having people in their life attend as guests, or having people in their life register in the forum. Okay, so who's going to be the coach? Sheeta?
Right, I just got the prompt.
Okay, good, Sheeta. And then Tamika, I think you said, Bert?
Yes, Tamika in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, Tamika, you're going to be the participant not performing. Okay, Sheeta, do you have a participant or two or three that aren't performing?
Yes, I do.
All right, good. So you're going to practice this, okay? So tell Tamika about one participant without names, just one participant, and what that person's dealing with so that Tamika can be that person.
Okay, so Tamika, you are a participant that has had one guest since the beginning of the program, and stopped by looking good. So you don't want to try anything, so because you don't want to fail.
Is Tamika there?
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening.
It is Tamika's sound. Tamika, your mic is not on.
Uh-huh. All right, who else? Let's have somebody else jump in quick.
Yeah, let's just go with Kim from, she lowered her hand. Let's go with Samantha from Atlanta.
Come on, Samantha.
Hi.
You're the participant who's had one guest and you're afraid to fail, okay?
Got it.
All right, good. Go ahead, Sheeta.
Hi, Samantha. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Very good. Awesome. Nice and early, and you've been on time every week. I want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So Samantha, on our last call, we created coaching from the stat book, right? And we created that, like, we're going to look at your statistics, right? And we're going to look at what does it look like on the court? Like, how is the program going for you?
Yep.
Okay. So looking at your statistics for last week, I see that you had the one guest the week before. And looking at your statistics, you didn't have any guests last week. And your word was to cause 2 guests and 1 registration, correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so I want to start our call by giving you the opportunity to be your most powerful self. So would you like to go ahead and restore integrity?
Sure. I know I said that I was going to cause, two guests and a registration, and I did not do that. So the impact is that I'm not being my word, and I'm not being everything matters. And I guess the impact is that I feel guilty. You know, I don't feel good about it. Yeah, I don't really know what I can do to put in place so that it doesn't happen again. Because I really don't want to scare my friends away. So I kind of just play it by ear when I'm talking to people, and I don't, you know, because I don't want to spook them.
I totally got that. So it's like, it occurs to you kind of like, you know, you were being a little bit pushy, you got the one guest, but then you're stopped by, you don't want to like, you know, scare people away. You don't want to just be talking about Landmark maybe all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like people are getting sick of it.
Okay. So what I want to actually develop you in as well, just kind of like a muscle, you know, we talk about integrity being a law, right? So really getting you developed and looking at integrity just as like a matter of like, does this function, does this work, and not so much morality. If you were to take all the story out of that, how would you restore integrity?
I did not honor my word to cause 2 guests in a registration. And the impact is I was not being my word, and I don't have like a sense of loss of power. And what I could see to put in is to call you or my buddy to mock conversations when I'm feeling afraid and stuck.
Amazing, great. And I just want to share with you as your coach, the impact on me is that, you know, my word in the world is that I make a difference with you and with your family and with your friends, and I didn't do that. So there were people that potentially could get their life from, you know, registering into the forum last week, and I didn't cause that difference with you. So now it's like there are these people that are probably waiting to hear from the forum, but I wasn't my word. So the impact on me is also, you know, a lack of integrity that sort of cascades from the lack of integrity over there.
I guess I didn't think about it like that. You know, it was really on me.
Perfect. So are you ready to have a breakthrough in your sharing with your friends and family?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we looked at how one of the things that really stops you is looking good. And we looked at how sometimes looking back can even be kind of like looking good, where, you know, this people that have enrollment conversations, they really come clean about an inauthenticity and so enrolling, where it just sort of starts out by looking really bad, but ultimately we looked at how looking good is sort of like a concept, sort of like an occurring for you. And then what opened up for you was that you were going to play full out and you were going to let looking good be there, sort of like a conversation running in the background, and then you were going to act on your possibility anyway.
Yeah, and I didn't do that.
Okay, and what do you, when you look there, what's there for you about that? Like, what is it that takes away from your freedom to act?
Definitely that fear, the fear of looking bad and looking weird and really just like being left, like abandoned. Yeah.
Okay. When you look at being abandoned, or that feeling that shows up for you, like being abandoned, who are you managing the existence of yourself as, where abandonment shows up? In conversations where people, well, I mean, in not very many conversations because you haven't really been sharing. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I guess for your question, I've been managing myself as like a scared 8-year-old.
And what happened when you were 8?
I just didn't really have a lot of friends.
Okay, so let's look at that. Like on the court, what did that look
All right, Sheeta, I'm just going to pause you there. Okay, I'm just going to pause you. Doing great. We're going to stop right there. And let's just have a look. What do you think worked about your interaction? What do you think was working?
What I think was working was I was really present to where we left off. Like I had done the work, like to be present to where my participant is at in the program. It's not like I know what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that about myself as their coach, that I know exactly what they're up to.
Yeah, very good. Now, let's have a look at what you think didn't work about the interaction.
What didn't work for me, and this comes up for me quite a lot, actually, that's why I've been raising my hand so much, is I saw it's kind of like some version of getting one. Like, gosh, if I break through this with this participant, this is gonna rock my world. Like, it's so about me and like what it means about me.
Brilliant. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. And if you look at the interaction, this is for everybody. Even in the doing the work to be prepared of knowing where your participant is at, I would at least have a look at what, if any, default listening you have that's at play there. Because that'll give the, like, what you exactly said, trying to get someone, or if I just cause this breakthrough, there's like a, not as obvious, but as still like handling or processing somebody in order to.
Yeah. And I'm running out of patience with my participants. It's kind of like I had room for it for the first few weeks, and now I'm like, results, you know, and I'm like, it has me just like consumed sort of by that.
Yeah, I would also say what did work is there is a sense of you being for the person you're talking to. Okay, so I wouldn't throw that out, but I would look at the default listening. Okay, so I'm going to do the same interaction, except I'm going to start in the guts of it. I'm going to start in the meat where you'd already kind of gone past the initial bit of the call. So if you can just say, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the other person who's...
Samantha.
All right, so Samantha, we're just going to go straight in like we're already in the middle of that conversation, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's see. We're going to cause a real breakthrough with this because there's such a leashedness to your sharing with this. And I want you to have a real look right now. As you go to share with people, what are the considerations that you're in a dance with?
That people aren't going to like me, that people aren't going to respect me as a businesswoman, that I'm going to talk about Landmark too much, that people are going to stop calling me as their friend. Like, I want to be the one that people go to, and I don't want them to think I'm just shoving personal development down their throat every time they call and they need help.
Now, that's a lot, isn't it, in your listening?
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear it right there, all those considerations that you're dancing with. You know, no freedom to be out here with the person. And when you are inside of those considerations, Samantha, then what way are your actions in a dance with that?
I constrain myself. You know, I don't ask. I have a weirdness about, hey, do you want to do the Landmark Forum? You're talking about all of these things that I know the forum could make a difference for, and the registration question isn't right there for me because I'm constraining myself with fear.
Yeah, very powerful. I mean, look at what you saw. You even let it go in that moment, and immediately you could see the action you could take in those conversations. Yeah, so if you really did let go of all of that, the businesswoman and I don't want to lose my friends and all of that, and you were just out there dancing, what might we see then? What would we see in your conversations?
Just total freedom, just being present. You know, if I was actually like with people and not in my head, then it wouldn't be weird to ask that question.
Yeah. Now, if you look right in what you just said, up until this point, hang on one second. See, with all of those considerations there, that constraint, where else is that in your life? Because I would assert it's not just Landmark Forum conversations when you're sharing.
That's a good question. You know, I guess sometimes my family, you know, maybe business, like really asking for, going after what I want.
Yeah. Like, you're either unleashed or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to you right now, that's not someone who's unleashed in the world. You can't have it like, oh, I'm really unleashed over here, but I'm not in just this little bit.
Got it.
And it would be crazy to think that you can be totally unleashed except not here.
Right.
And you're at the effect of what other people think of you, including what you think of you.
Yes. There's a lot of chatter going on that I've made up.
Yeah. Now, with the huge commitment that you have, I mean, you're in this program, and with that massive commitment, you're at the effect of what somebody else has to say.
Right.
Or including what your brain has to say in a moment.
Right.
And up until this point, have just not been willing to be cause in the matter. And how is that going for you?
Not well. It's, it feels defeating.
Yeah. Now, I would absolutely say that's not just here during this program. And not on my watch. I got it. You're walking around in life defeated and no more. From this coaching call onwards. And we're going to start with a declaration you made at the second weekend. And we're going to start with taking the stand, having that taking the stand to make the declaration, I'm cause in the matter. So do you want to do that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am cause in the matter of my life.
Yeah. Now, what matter in your life that we've just been talking about are you cause in the matter of?
Being unleashed.
Yeah.
Being with people.
Yeah. And are you cause in the matter of whatever fear or concern or consideration comes up about what they'll think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, right there, what actions do you see to take in your conversations?
Just to be completely present, to be totally in someone else's world, and to make the ask, to ask people like what, you know, what really matters to them, and like what difference would this work really make, so that it's not weird, it actually would be natural.
Yeah, like a real freedom to be straight.
Yeah.
I mean, you might even say, I'm really concerned about what you'll think. I don't want you to, I don't know, stop being my friend or whatever it is, but your life matters to me more than my personal considerations or fear.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We're going to stop there, only just for time, okay? But it's Sheeta, right? Sheeta?
Yes, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Tell me, what did you see? Just in 1 or 2 sentences, what opened up for you out of seeing that interaction?
So, you know, the part in the introduction where we say a little bit more about that. I feel like I come so much from like knowing, like knowledge is my strong suit. I read so much. I've read every book. Well, not every book, but it occurs I've read every book.
Yes.
I want to know more about that. So when she said like, what are your considerations? Like, what are some of these things you say to yourself? I assume I know what he says to himself.
Good.
No, so getting the world of getting it out of the shadow and bringing that into the light, it loses its significance. Now it's just chatter. Like she called it chatter, and I was like, here we are, like dealing with this thing that's like, gosh, this is so real. And then as soon as she started saying what those things are, it's ridiculous and funny. So
very good.
Just say a little bit more about that. Wow, that's hilarious, isn't it? And then say a little bit more about that. Wow, that's a huge consideration. How funny is that consideration that you have?
Yeah. And look, I think more than that, it's even funny because it may not be. Somebody may, when you say more about that, they may find they're upset underneath that. In her case, she thought it was absurd, right? But what it does is it allows the participant to discover something for themselves. And Sheeta, what you said about I have to know was so great. You can see that because who was doing most of the talking in your interaction with Samantha? I used to be an attorney. That's what you call a leading question. It was you. And listen, I don't want to make a rule out of anything, but look, if you're doing most of the talking, they're stringing you along or playing you. Nothing's happening.
Well, I've had calls where 45 minutes into it, I'm like, I did the whole 45 minutes. Like I got off way into the call, having had most of the conversation.
All right, good. So questions are really good, more than statements. You know, you want to have an inquiry. Our work has led as an inquiry, not in receive knowledge. There's nothing you're going to teach them. I'm talking to everyone now, not just Sheeta. There's no wisdom you can impart here. Trust me, if you've seen my interactions with people at the weekend, they're mostly an inquiry in the context of standing for something. You know, if you look at my interaction with Nikki from London at the East Coast weekend, for those of you who were with me, or in the West Coast weekend when I was working with Jonathan on Sunday, who was distinguishing his inauthenticity. Mostly it's like, what's that like for you? And what's the impact? I mean, I didn't have any answers for him. I had some great questions that allowed him and her in each weekend to uncover something for themselves. Nothing is as powerful as what they discover for themselves. And if you could see Madeline and Bert both were working straight from the questions on the screen, just straight from the questions on the screen. Do you see how big an opening that gives you to have an inquiry, to actually engaged? Okay, great, Sheeta. We're not going to give you a chance to mock it again, just given we're running out of time. Okay, but thank you for stepping in. Thank you, Samantha. With a show of hands, tell me how many of you saw openings for action for yourself from those interactions? Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. Awesome. So this is something to practice, and this is my request of the head coaches and the classroom leaders, that in the next week or 2 weeks that you set up occasions together to really practice this, like exactly like we did. And the classroom leaders and the head coaches, you can really support your coaches here in seeing pathways from these opening questions. They're really opening questions to support you. Okay, so will you all do that? I'm assuming a yes, unless I hear from you otherwise, classroom leaders and head coaches. And registration managers too, you can participate in that. It really makes a big difference if you're practicing. You know, when you have your call with your head coach, bring up the issue, bring up the place where you've lacked power and actually use these questions. You'll not only be empowering yourself to coach the participant, but you're deepening the distinctions of the weekend too, by the way, time they come to weekend 3. If you keep working from these distinctions, they come into weekend 3 in a very, very powerful place, laying as foundation, okay? Wouldn't it be just great to have so many more hours together? But last words from me before we go to center meeting time, okay? I do want to remind you as coaches and head coaches that the person who makes, these are like little business items now, The only person who makes the final call on whether someone is withdrawn from the Introduction Leaders Program is the registration manager for the Introduction Leaders Program. So any participant who says to you, I'm out of here, please do not take it upon yourself to have that conversation be the final conversation. You say, that's a conversation. You can make a difference with it, go for it. If you experience you're not making a difference with it, you've got to ensure that the registration manager has the final call, which mostly will not be the final call, okay? Because they can complete whatever's in the way. And you could also be on that call to develop yourself. And one of the things that's obvious, however you can see that where you used to have opportunities to lead, right now, most of you are not leading introductions, yes? Yeah. I think you don't realize how important a structure for fulfillment that was in being a coach, that you would prepare to lead every month. Even if the lead fell apart, you were preparing, you were doing your possibility clear, you were distinguishing in inauthenticity. So whilst ever you're not leading, I really invite you to work with the introduction every week as though you're leading. You know how you would distinguish a probable, almost certain future in an area of your life? Really empower yourself. Take it on just for your own life, that once a week, you're going to just work with the notebook exercise in your own life. Just every week, just take an area of your life and create a new possibility in that area. So you're continuing to be sourced in the introduction. You've got to really be ahead of the game here. You've got to be leading the way with them in having that introduction be the context of where you live. So my request of you and my coaching to you is every week, take an hour and just do it while you're driving. Think through, okay, what's the area that's not working? Really create a new possibility in an area of your life that's important to you. How good could you stand to have it if every week you had some new possibility that produced results for you? How good could you stand to have it? So in a moment, you're going to go to your center meetings. From me, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank the people who stepped out and participated all night. I thank all of you for the work you're doing. You should know what's showing up in the program and in the world is very inspiring, like really, really inspiring. The difference the participants are making, that you are at the source of, that you are making a difference with that. So I thank you and I love you. And please now complete being in this meeting and please go to your center meetings until we're next together after the third weekends. All right, bye everyone.